Anyways, like I was saying, for a conditional statement, uh, it implies that there's a condition that needs to be fulfilled in order for something to happen. So if the condition is not fulfilled, that thing will not happen. This is basically the function of each and any loop that you will come across. Be it the for loop, do, while, and if you pay attention to kuna while this statement is happening, then you do it. It's like while do while, and hata ukiangalia the if statement ama if else, that's basically the function. These are the basically the functions. For each and every conditional statement, you find out that a conditional statement, this helps you like to. I'll use more Kiswahili than English kwa ajili kama mtu hawezi katumia like simple words to explain something, it's usually very hard, like kutumia like complex terms. So like I was saying, yeah, um let's take a for loop. We've been using for loops for a while, yeah. It's usually for something alafu kuna condition. After that, that's when you open the loop, alafu there's something huku ndani, then close the loop. So this is basically a conditional statement. So hapa, if you don't put in a condition, the loop keeps on going, and it turns out to be an infinite loop where the loop never ends. It just keeps going, 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 and that's the best way for a machine or a computer to crash if the loop is never end. So hence that's why we avoid that's why we avoid infinite loops at any cost. And as guys have seen, kulikuanga na like as you guys muliona, kulikuanga na like a session where we had like kulikuanga na like explain what's happening to the code. Alafu the code was something like for is it a for loop? Let me just think up of something. For nine where 0 is less than 10, alafu asi 0, sorry, hapo nafungua I less than 10, alafu nafungwa. There's no I plus plus hapo. Then you open the loop, then you state like print of alafu hapa alafu close it. Then you close that. So this is an example of an infinite loop because I is 0 and 0 is always less than 10, printing hello, 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 hello. And at the end of the day, you'll find out that the program might end up crashing simply because it didn't make the condition to exit, if I may say. Yeah. So hence, like in each and every conditional statement that you're going to write, the best thing for you to do is make sure like a condition is met and it is closed. Like don't end up having a loop that never ends. Hence, let's take up the previous example, use the for loop. Maybe let me this time use the while loop. So while the condition is in the box, I I is already predefined because that's our the assumption. Then um, I is less than equal to 10, um, this type of loop won't be infinite. So this one, it requires for I, this I will be incremented until it gets to 10. When it gets to 10, the loop will end. So when the loop ends, that's how we have actually like we've actually like completed that condition. That condition has been met, and we move on to the next one. And this was just like a short recap for anyone who trained na kwa while. I think I have session ingine ya pointers, but apart from that, I hope kila mtu ako sawa. We'll be moving on to what is a library, because like one libraries, and nimeona like amepitia some material, and best that kila mtu like get to understand kenye mi pia nime understand. So we start with haya. I'll throw a question at you guys. Ukisikia the word library, nini inaingia kwa akili yako? Mnanisikia?
Tusikie, tunakusikia.
So, mkisikia the word library, nini ina go on in your head? What do you understand about library when you hear this word? Okay, ni kama hakuna mtu mwenye akona idea. Alright, alright. I'm just gonna I'm going to say it shortly. So kuna when you talk about library, this means there's information stored. So when I think about library, this is the actual idea that I get. Library is the place where information. This is where information is stored. And since information is stored inside a library, now we have been told like in C there are two types of. The first library is static, and the other is dynamic. Mnajua difference ya static na dynamic ni nini? Tuanzie hapo.
Hapana, tujasoma hivyo.
Haya. So in layman's terms, ile hadi explainia mtoto mdogo ataelewa. Static means something that is rigid, something that haibadiliki. Static means that anyways, for static means has not changed. Not and dynamic means changes. So basically in C there are two types of library ya kwanza ni static na ya pili ni dynamic. So there are basically these two types of libraries in C: static library and dynamic library. Um, if something doesn't change, uh, if a library is static, it means that you can't make the library to change. Like if you go to the National Archives, you'll find that books. Let me not use books as an example because books are being moved inside them. Let's take like a country itself. Yeah, you can't move a country. You can't take a country. Huwezi kasema like today, the map of Africa. Like let me just post Africa. Africa. So assuming this is a small sketch of Africa, this is Africa. Africa is in iko hapo, as in it's a continent on its own, alafu hapa ni the ocean huku surrounding. Yeah. So you can't move the continent, the African continent, because it's there. It is a static continent. It's not moving. Hata kama like during history tuliambiwa like kulikuwa na Pangaea and everything. But at the moment, the way we are living right now, this content, this continent is just there on its own and it's not moving. It is a static continent because it's not moving. But uh, if you go to history, when all the continents were together before like the splitting, it was Pangea, the whole continents zilikuanga pamoja. Europe ilikuanga huku, America ilikuanga hapa, Africa ilikuwa hapa, Asia ilikuwa hapa, and then this one started to move, this one started to move, this one other one started to move. Hence, hizo continents zika end up zikuwa dynamic when they were moving. So if something changes, that is dynamic. It changes its state. Like if you boil water, it changes to steam. That's a dynamic. But if you boil a rock, it will just get hot. So it will be static, haibadiliki. I hope hapo hakuna mtu mwenye static. Any questions between this before we move along? I just want you guys to know like the difference between a dynamic library and a static library. Kama hakuna any question.
Does that mean that so a static library, the files do not change in the static library?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, but dynamic, you can change a file, move it from one maybe folder to another.
Yes. Exactly. That's
Uh,
the main
un-
nilikuwa naambia about static library and
unders-
dynamic library. Like you need to know like there's a difference between the two.
Understood.
So
Okay, understood.
so right now I'm assuming kila mtu anajua what a library is. So I continue to why do you need library? Because nimesema what a library is, tukasema types of libraries in C which are static and dynamic. Tunakuja hapa kwa why do you need library? Anyways, I'll just start off and tell you guys. For each and every project yenye tumekuwa tukifanya, what I've seen is that uh, we've actually been doing this, yeah? Unaambiwa you do this, unaambiwa you do this, yeah? Unapatiwa prototypes, alafu after being given prototypes, you're being told to put them into main dot h. Haya, tunaanzia hapa. Prototypes tunajua ni kama ni int bla 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 alafu underscore car, alafu this underscore car kuna something in the brackets inaweza kuwa okay, see, sorry, void or something. Hii na kiponge kichange kwa everything. Alafu hapo unapata ni car s alafu imeclick alafu. This is usually the prototype. So I'm going to ask you guys, mumai jiuliza like what's a prototype and what does this main.h file mean? Because for the C, from what we've been doing, yeah, because all the prototypes have been put into the main.h file. So while running a C file, tulianza like we are doing these quizzes and reading, kulikuwa na ile process ya the compilation of a code ama kitu kama hiyo. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Like hii stuff in confusion. Kuna pre-processing, compilation, assembly, alafu hii I think ni threading. Ni threading. I don't know. Itabidi nimegoogle because sijui kama it's linked, not link. So do you guys like understand what pre-processing is, compilation is, assembling is na linking is? Kuna mtu mmoja mwenye anaweza katu explainia hizi stuff? You like nilikuanga while going through this nikaona hizi stuff nilikuanga like hii na nilisoma like but who really get to understand what they actually mean. So does any one of you guys understand ama know what kazi ya hii ni nini kwa C? Yo guys, mnaweza kanisikia?
Tunakusikia.
My question is kuna mtu anaweza katu explainia like hii process of compilation in C?
Okay, the first processing, according to my understanding, is when you run a program, the first step that the program takes is to be processed to the GCC compiler. So it defines conditions. Let me say that the file that you've created, the condition is being checked by the compiler if the like the way we check for errors. The compilation, the instruction that we've given the program to run, that is the processing part, according to my understanding. Then compilation now is the second phase. So after the first stage of processing, then the program is now compiled to go to now the third stage of being assembled. and then linked to the final state. That is how I understand. I don't know if anyone has a better explanation, but it's just a process of how the compilation of a program runs from the start. It's like in stages. That's how I understand.
Mm. Talk about the linking. So like the GCC does everything. So, someone this process.
Using the GCC, that's how Amasiku. Okay, I don't know, but if I'm wrong, please someone correct me on that.
But yeah, do yo Edu. Do. Eriko, getting
Nakusikia.
key process violation standard.
Yes, semaje Sage?
Mtu atueleze like process violation standard.
Hapo sijui kama niko na hiyo information.
Sage, unataka tueleze? Uko na idea?
I think usuna vile umeandika najaribu kuirecall but ni hiyo tu compilation. Hata tulifanya kwa quiz fulani but ni hiyo pre-process compilation assembly but siwezi explain practically
Mm.
but in theory I think the same way vile tu umeiweka hapo hivyo. So I'm not sure. I'm still trying to recall. Mm.
Right. Yeah, yeah, it's very but Byron, the line that I'll like a recap on it nifanye a bit of research. Then um I'll need I'll give you guys more explanation. You know, like because it's like a good essential you have to know like what's happening when we're doing this thing about library. Anyways, because yeah, prototypes, most of the prototypes are already predefined inside they're predesigned inside a library. But before we get to the library, we had this prototype. Alafu we've seen if one hasn't completed the current yenye tuko nayo, this prototype inaenda kwa header main dot uh, where they go to the header file and okay. So the prototypes go into the header file, but his prototype as we saw, we were told to get underscore car. There was another one like 0 dot slash I don't know what. Uh, let me give it a random name hapa hivi. Wewe. We had all these files dot c dot c dot c c dot c we had all these files. Alafu we were told to get them from previous projects that but hatujui like what's the purpose of this main.h, the purpose of a header. So in every each and every project we have the usually hashtag include um yes, so, hash include s dot h, hash include dot h, and we use path h, but kuna, and then there was hours where we had include main dot h. This is what we've been using most of the time. So this header file is used during the link process. Hence, that's why I said like we need to like understand very well like the process of compilation. So uh, number one, so assembling file process. So like if you get to understand this process, you'll know like what preprocessing is, then what compiling, what assembling, yeah. Because while doing the process, what I told you, we took these files. After taking these files, we convert them to underscore to dot o. After converting them to putcar.o, we had this command ar minus rc, and then let's say lib I, not wrong here, and then we use the command asterisk o, ama if you had the time you would have named them individually, this one, this one, this one, and then you put them here. So this was the process of where after it has been processed, you're compiling them and putting them inside your library. Sorry, in a fake word dot, supposed to be dot. Any library file is a .a file, while header file is a .h file. I hope mpaka hapo hakuna, yeah. Alafu there was this command run, and then you put the name up with the name of the library that you want to be running. This was basically the process that we were doing, but we didn't understand like why are we doing this. So hence I'm going to explain here slowly like the process of like nini, writing your own, like we are making that library for the project. We are actually making our library. It was called all. So for program to run, there's a couple of things that people should understand. We take this one, standard input, standard lib, dot math, math.h, sorry. These are header files which are linked to each and every program that we are making. Yeah? This each and every one of these has a library that we can't see. And inside that library that we can't see, there are these because we usually have f, f, this scan f. There's also how can I say this? A square. It is a square key thing or square root. Like have these functions that have already been defined inside the this one. This square root is the math. Alafu this other one, these two, they are the standard input output, and for lib it's another thing. So what you guys like should understand is that each and every function that you use, it's already defined in a library. So for a library, there's a lot of what happens inside a library is a library where definition of a function happens. Then the header file is where the declaration. After after the declaration, then um, we use it inside the code. That's where it is used. So we have lib all dot a. Lib all dot a. We have main dot h or stdio dot h. This these are header files. This is a library, and after that we have now our main function where the code is run. And we all know, like, without a main function, your code will never run because in each and every code and each and every program, it requires a main function for it to run. Otherwise, the function will be just defined and nothing happens. Hence the need for the main function. Main function is where you invoke the program to run. Mpaka hapo, do we have any questions? Do you guys understand uh like why we need a library? Do you guys understand like why do you need a library while coding? Yo, guys. Yo, Amos, Myra, do you guys like get why we need a library to do all this stuff?
I'm thinking library is supposed to help you locate where your files are. Uh, it's just my ordinary way of thinking, but maybe you can help me out on that.
So for like a program to run, uh before before like this pre-processing, compilation, assembling, and linking happen, yeah, you should have a library there. So the function of having this library is there are functions that are inside a library. The purpose of a library is to store the functions that you will use, like um, you told you declare a variable, you declare a function. So I don't know. get a code that we recently used. Mm. So mm, okay, let me just get one of the things in its pop. Um, not table. Let's just one of, let's say int int underscore r. Let's take int underscore put card. Then that we had dot character b. So this right here is a function. This function needs to be somewhere for you to access. So if you write a code, let's take it like we are writing we want to start a program, yeah, that prints hello world, yeah. So it's usually hash include like when we initially started the ALX. This was the first amongst the first program that we did, yeah, for anyone who's starting up. Let's go. Then there's the main function int main. So main can have like two things. It can have a void inside. If not void, it can have like a defined something that's defined inside the main function. So for this example, we'll use the void inside, yeah. So we'll have here print f hello world. Then we close alafu tufunge. Then we return 0. Then we close our main. So for this program to run without a standard input output, this hashing, without this program will not run, will not display anything, because it will come and check, oh, there's main, okay, good. Then it starts checking, then it finds an error because you've used printf and the program doesn't understand what this printf means. Because yeah, printf ni nini. That's what the program is asking. It will be asking you if you've tried to run this program without the hash include standard input out. So the purpose of this stand include is to hold this function. Now, all these functions in C, they are usually in the documentation, because you can't see like what is stored inside the library, but you can go ahead and call these functions. It can be the put char, it can be printf, it can be scanf. All these functions are predefined, they are stored. Like a library is something that someone else, some other function that someone else already wrote for you to use inside that program. Like let me give you a good example. There's this new one out there. It's called React. This is basically a library where Facebook saw that they want to define their own functions and their own libraries. So they created React for them to make like new codes inside there and push on their own libraries. Yeah. Hence that now we have that. Yeah. Yeah. this right here, this is how a program runs, even the programming in a running. So for you to run a program, you need the header file, because the header file stores functions that are already defined inside a library. So without a library, you can't get these functions and run your program. Hence, you need the header file where the the functions have been declined. Like this is defined in the, like if you take it here, create a static library containing all the functions listed below. So all these functions, like input is lower, alpha, is is upper, is digit, string length, puts, all these are stored inside the library, like iko huko ndani already. Kazi yako tu ni program yako kwenda kutafuta oh, oh, ni kwenda kutafuta is lower. But without this hash include uh, sp, let's just use an example for what we've been doing late here. We've been using main.h. So when you run this program, it goes to int main first. If it goes to int main, it finds printf. Says, I don't understand this printf inamaanisha nini. Let me check kwa program if printf is written somewhere. So if we have defined a printf here, if there's a printf hapa hivi, let's say this print, assuming that printf here is putchar, let me just put putchar here so that you guys don't get confused. Yeah, let's go. So so when you run this program, it goes to the main kwanza, it runs, it says put. I don't understand what putchar. Let me check in the program if there's anything that relates to this putchar. So it goes to the header file. When you get to the header file, you find that in the header file there's this main.h, and inside this main.h, putchar is already defined. So it says putchar it's character. Then it runs this program hello world because it's inside the main.h. Hence, all these functions, like if you put it like here inside your main function, all these are inside your main function. But what does this putchar do, to be honest with you? Like it's our, you can see like it's here. This is a function, you're calling this function putchar, and you've declared it a character. But what is the definition of underscore putchar? What's it defined as? What's it what's its definition? I don't know, maybe I can get it for for nini, for nini, for better explanation to you guys. Satisfied to get a yeah, can get this digit. So let's take this digit, yeah. Uh so for here is digit, it declares as an integer. Then there's the if loop telling us to check. It goes into the it's called an ASCII. ASCII. It's called ASCII. Yes. Goes to the ACI. Then when it goes to there, it checks between 48 and 57. When you go to the table, for 48 to 50, it's 57. This to this is number 1 to number 9. Number 1 to, yeah. So essence of this code is is to go to sorry, it's number 0, not number 1. It's is to go to the ANSI file for the computer, because the computer doesn't understand the human language. Goes there, then checks if the number is from 0 to 9. If it's from 0 to 9, then this number is a digit. If it's not, then it's not a digit. Hence, it's called here return 0. That's to check if it's a digit. Hence, we had all this is digit, is copy, is string, cat. We had all of them here. This was to check if the number is digit, if it's an integer, if it's a character. Like if you check car, then it actually checks, right? One C. C is a character. It refers to C and checks if one is character. That's that's the basis of of our these files. Yeah. So these files in C, we don't actually we don't call like is digit. We don't go and check is digit. This is already like inside the library already. For anyone like who didn't do the project and umepotea saizi, yeah, what basically we did, yeah, we defined we had a C program called is digit, yeah. This was zero. So this is digit.c. It can't be run in C because well, it can be run, but you can imagine every time you're running is digit, you're including it. So the purpose of turning it into is digit dot o and including this one in all dot a is to make it easier for you. Call is digit instead of every time writing the code inside is digit. So this library stores the function is digit. After is digit is stored, this is actually the definition find inside the library. After its definition, what happens is it is declared inside a header file. It can be my.h. This is definition. This is declaration. So a function is defined in the library, is stored in the header, and it's called in the program. So this is how basically the C functions. Hence, we had this reprocessing, compilation. It's compiled into .o file, then it's stored in the header file. It's declared. Oh, sorry, it's stored in the library. It's declared in the header file. It's compiled in the program, and after compilation, like this happens, a compilation, it is assembled, and assembling happens when a library lib all dot a and the main dot c are combined. When you combine this, you get an executable file. So this executable file, it works everywhere. Like you can take the executable file, like let's take this Brave, the browser. I can give you the installation of the Brave browser into your machine, and it will run perfectly. Yeah. But if I give you like if I don't give you like the Brave browser executable file, you'll need to like compile it, then link it. So this executable file has this all this process have already been done. So your work is just to run the program. It will reprocess, compile, run the program, everything. And if you need to make any changes to this executable file, you need to go back to the source code. You can't just go into a library then make changes. No. You'll have to go to the source code, make your changes. After making your changes in the source code, you go through the whole process again. Hence, that's why every time you keep hearing there's an update to this software, there's an update because you have to go to the source code first, make the changes, then link the program, then run the program again for you in order for you to run to be able to execute that folder again. So we're basically done with the session today, and we were just talking about how everything works. Uh, what a library is, types of libraries in C, why you need a library, how to create a static library, and how to use a static library. So at this point, do we have any questions in whatever it is that we have done so far? Because if you've not understood like what a library is and how a library works, we can clarify like where you didn't understand. Manu, anything hujelewa?
Mi niko fiti personally. Depend sasa kaa kuna mtu ako na swali unaweza uliza.
Rolex, kuna kitu yenye hujelewa ama uko sawa?
Mi niko poa. Thanks for the explanation.
Myra, uko fiti?
Mi niko sawa Sage, niko poa.
Hmm. Settings, uko sawa?
Niko sawa, niko sawa.
Now, basically we can say tumemaliza session yetu, not unless kuna swali ingine, as long as unajua how a library affects hizi vitu zingine, how it is declared and how it is run, then we are good.